So I got this idea while talking to AI. This is going to be a video where there is no structure. I'm going to try my best to not even look at the fact that I'm recording because I have a weird tendency where when I realize I'm recording, I will start to mess up my words and my mind will go blank. I'll start talking for the recording rather than talking just to talk. So, my second monitor, I just removed OBS so I can't even see the fact that I'm recording. But here is the context on a little bit of context on everything I'm about to go into. I also think this is a very, very important video. All of the videos I've been uploading recently have mainly been things I feel are very important to document on the journey, mainly due to how close I am to finally being consistent with my trading. The fact that this is the last stretch of the mile, I think it's important to see how I'm continuing to develop and grow. So, 20 minutes ago, okay, fine, 30 minutes ago, mainly because I try to do like 40 retakes based upon like how many times I messed up on this recording. But 30 minutes ago, I was eating breakfast and I asked myself the question, and this was the question. At the end of the month, let's say I still have a balance within my account, and let's just say in this situation where I didn't have the most profitable month, however, I still have a remaining balance and I'm eligible in order to withdraw. Should I withdraw that amount or continue to trade consistently, not knowing when I will get my payout? And immediately after asking myself this question, it's like the yin and yang side of me. It's like the yang side of me asked that question, and the yin side of me immediately responded with the simplest answer: no. Now, why? Because it is not. You doing so is not developing you or putting you into the proper footsteps. That's how you say it. Based upon the trader you want to become. You are executing on an idea that doesn't just mean a trade idea, but executing on an idea as a whole, emotionally, rather than technically. And I stopped myself for a minute. I was like, that's a great point, me. Good job. And the thing is, I ask myself these questions at times that I already know the answer to, but I ask myself the question just to see how I will react to said situation and how I have continued to grow as a trader and learn to respond differently to certain situations like that do happen, such as an emotional question, pertaining to an emotional situation. And here's the thing, because after that I took another step back and I really asked myself the question: what do I, as an individual, as a trader, whatever you want to call it, want my next payout also would have having been my first payout in over a year and a half, almost 2 years now, holy cow, represent? What do I want that to represent to me? Or do I not want it to represent anything? And that's when I really took a step back to think. I was like, well, I want my first payout to, well, not my first payout, but my first payout in, shoot, might as well call it my first payout. It's been so long. I want my first payout to represent to me as an individual, as a trader, that not only can I do this full time, but I can truly be consistent with this. I can really make my dreams of having 30, 40, 50, 60K months a reality. Like, there's no limit that I can't supersede, I guess. You know, I want it to represent to me that no matter what I set my mind on, regardless of whether or not it happens in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, which it has been 4 years, that I can't achieve it. And the reason why I'm making this video is because the old me would have just taken the payout. He would have taken the payout, gotten that quick dopamine hit, and would have not really cared what it would represent to him. But as I've continued to fail and fail and fail, I've realized the importance of truly developing yourself and growing into that individual that's able to have consistency, not only just in trading, but in life as a whole. But I guess in this example, in your trading, rather than just getting a short-term quick dopamine hit and calling it a day. Because I've learned, you know, throughout the past 3 years trading, or learning how to trade really, that money that is not earned, money that is not, let me correct myself, money that is not earned mechanically will always, always, always go back to the market. It's never yours. And I experienced this firsthand. And so what I want my next payout to represent to me is the fact that this money is earned. That this money is mine. That I traded mechanically, followed my model, followed my discipline, and continued to remain disciplined over a set period of time in order to earn what is now mine. That I don't need to have the fear of giving it back to the market, or the fact that it's going to disappear, because I know I can do what I'm doing consistently, day in and day out, without fail. Now, that doesn't mean I won't make mistakes at times or won't lose money or X, Y, and Z, but it does mean that regardless of what happens, you know, win or loss, I can continue to remain consistent in my trading over a set period of time. So, after thinking that, after coming to that realization, I stopped to think about my goals going into not only this month of September, but all the way to December into 2026. Holy cow, 2026. Holy unk. Oh my goodness. Dang near I have gray hair now. It's not even impressive anymore, bro. But anyways, no, in all seriousness, I started to think of my focus going into the end of the year. And also how my focus has been over the past 3 months. And if I just take you guys with me, I want to break down month by month and how I'm really viewing my trading, not as some emotional gambler that makes a little bit of money, but as someone who is truly looking to not only as someone who's truly looking to really overcome himself and do something like this consistently. And let me first break down month by month, and then you guys will understand what I mean. So starting off in the month of July, I had no real structure. In the month of June, that was the first ever month I had followed my rules. Now, I didn't have these accounts then, but I had my MFFU account, which I still have, by the way. But that was the first ever month I fully followed my model, continued to remain disciplined, continued to be disciplined to my risk management rules, and I seen real result. And now going into the month of July, you guys already know this if you're caught up with my journey, but I slipped up. I traded outside of my model. That was fine. That was a reset after the 10 grand day. In order to re-humble me, in order to re-ground myself, to really focus on whether or not I truly understood what I was doing, or whether or not it would be like 2023 where I make a bunch of money, withdraw it, and then eventually lose it throughout the years, and then spend years and years and years of inconsistency just trying to figure this thing out again. And I didn't want that. However, all this happened for a reason. I'll break down everything right now. So, this was the regrounding month. You know, to reground me and realize, hey, you need to focus on your model. You got here because of your model. You have to continue to follow your model. And the month of August was the rehabilitation month. It was seeing whether or not I truly had what it took in order to consistently execute upon my model. That doesn't mean I needed to be perfect pertaining to my risk management and my rules or anything. However, I just needed proof of concept that I can do what I say I'm going to do. And guess what? I did. And now, this month was messy. There were a multitude of mistakes. I'll type out a few mistakes I made throughout that month right here. So, a few mistakes I made throughout how do you spell through? Out the month of August. Let's just move this here. With the first one being inconsistent, oh my gosh, risk management. My risk management was inconsistent. I had over excessive losses. Second, lower. I just realized I accidentally paused the recording, and I have no idea where I paused it. Oh, that's not good. Do I want to do a retake of this? Nah, I'm not going to do a retake. Okay, if I pause, I'm assuming I paused it right here. Lower probability because, yeah, I'm assuming I paused it there. So anyways, the 5 things I ended up, I'll just re-break down, I guess. But the 5 things I struggled with throughout that entire month were these 5 things. Inconsistent risk management, lower probability trades, high frequency of low probability trades. I did not take my profits when I was in profit. Consistent losing streaks and confidence in my scaling. And so, going into the month of September, in order to figure that out, I had to first trade throughout the entire month and allow myself to execute upon my model. Doesn't mean it had to be perfect, but just execute upon my model in order to see what I was doing wrong. And then the month of September, which is now, is where I could begin to start consistently or start to filter things out gradually. And this is what I'm about to go into. So, by the time August had ended, I realized what I needed to improve upon. And my focus going into the month of September wasn't to immediately exclude everything, to remove all of these problems, but was to gradually begin to slowly, how would I say this? Remove the problems, I guess. But this is the issue I find a lot of traders facing. They realize they're making, let's say, a couple mistakes, right? Let's say 3 mistakes. And the first week, they will try to immediately remove everything in order to ensure to themselves that, now is the time they can be profitable. Oh, I didn't make any of my mistakes for 1 week. Now I'm going to be profitable. And the issue with that, it's like cutting out a bad habit in a day. It does not work. It doesn't work. You may be able to do it for a couple of days. However, at the end of it, you always find yourself reverting and falling back into that bad habit again. Mainly because you didn't properly approach that bad habit upon how to properly remove it out of your life, not temporarily, but permanently. And that's my focus going into the next 4 months, to remove these out of my life permanently, not just temporarily. I don't want these to be a mistake where, I sometimes make, but I'm still kind of making money, but it happens here and there. No, I want to remove these permanently. However, I understand in order to do so, I have to continue to reinforce this identity, this new identity of myself that is someone who follows his risk management, executes based upon his model, you know, executes with probability, understands when to not trade, understands how to properly manage his risk, and all these other things. I have to first reaffirm this identity, which will eventually kill off my old identity, my old self. So going into the month of September, I wanted to remove 3 out of 5 of these things, but not just in one week, but throughout the whole month. I wanted to prove to myself more proof of concept that, hey, I still have the ability to follow what I say. Because to me, it's always been about being a man of your word. If I say something to myself, I should be able to follow it. Now, that doesn't mean I'll always do it perfectly, and it's something a lot of people struggle with, and that's okay. You'll struggle with it in the beginning, but I believe if you keep going at it, and you have the persistence enough in order to not just sulk when you fail to do so and give up and quit, eventually you'll start to become a man of your word. Or at least I hope so. And that's why, for me, I understand that it's not going to happen in a single week. It's not going to happen in 2 weeks. It may not happen in a month, and that's okay. But I want to continue to put myself on the proper path in order to ensure one day it does happen. And what are those 3, you may ask? The first one was inconsistent risk management. If we take a look at, that's my notion, if we take a look at August, we can see my risk management was kind of inconsistent. You guys can't really tell because some of the green days. However, my risk was kind of inconsistent. And that was the first thing I wanted to fix. Because why? I realized after reflecting, I would have made more money that month if my risk management was consistent. And now I ended up fixing it. You can tell throughout this half of the month. But the initial first beginning of the month, you can't really tell, mainly because but it was inconsistent. So, continuing to follow my consistent risk. Now, removing lower probability trades, I already talked about that in a previous video. But filtering those out, 1 per week if I can. That doesn't mean I need to get it immediately. I understand. I don't need 0 low probability trades throughout the whole month. I just need to begin to start understanding how to properly filter them out. And eventually, by me doing so, focusing and understanding what differentiates a low probability setup based upon a high probability setup, they will eventually begin to fade out on their own. My data will start to reflect my backtesting data. And now, taking profits. Those are the 3 I really wanted to focus on throughout this month. Now, confidence and scaling as well, but that's happening gradually as I continue to execute and, scale pertaining to how I find it mechanical for me. And the consistent losing streaks and the not taking profits go hand in hand, mainly because I had losing streaks, not because the trades were bad, but because I wasn't taking profits. I had a 5 trade losing streak here, all because I didn't take profits when 2 out of 5 of these days, this one, and this one, were green days I was able to take profit on. Actually, sorry, 3. 3 out of 5 of these days, Tuesday, Thursday, and Monday, I was able to take profit on. And, well, Friday, I hit break even. I also didn't take profit on that, but that to me was something I also wanted to improve upon going into the month of September. So taking my profits, having consistent risk, and lowering the amount of low probability trades I took. And if I could do that, to me, September would be a huge win based upon the trader I'm striving to become, right? One that is consistent. So that's my mindset going into the month of September. Those are my goals going into the month of September. Not to focus on a P&L outcome, but to focus on the characteristics that will allow that P&L outcome to not just be a one-time thing. My goal here isn't just to take a payout and get a dopamine hit of, yeah, I finally did it, and then never do it again like I did previously. but instead to finally prove to myself that, hey, I know what I'm doing and I could do this consistently, and I don't need to have that odd feeling of doubt lurking in the back of my mind whenever I start doing good, telling me, whispering sweet lies in my ear saying, oh, you're just doing good for right now. Don't worry, you're going to fall off soon. Or, don't say anything about it because you're going to jinx yourself. Oh, don't jinx yourself. Don't do that. I want full confidence in my ability to make money, that I never have to deal with those emotions of doubt again, because I went through all the failures and the trials. But not only that, but during those failures and the trials, I didn't continue to focus on the end result of, the trophy of, oh, I finally got a payout, or this and that, or I made X amount of dollars, but rather focus on, okay, what characteristics do I need to continue to refine in order to make this shiny trophy a consistent recurrence. So yeah, that's my focus going into the month of September, and I realize I can honestly care less about a payout, and I am more than willing to trade for 3 months without a payout, already having the ability to have an eligible payout, but continuing to remain disciplined, not to my model, but to me. To me 4 months from now, to me 6 months from now, to me years from now, however that may look. Which to me, right now, it looks like following my model and continuing to regulate my emotions and even ask these questions to myself and answer them back to myself and reflect. So that's my focus on the month of September. And guess what? If I don't get all of them, that's fine. Going to the month of October, I know I would have at least gotten one of these things. And guess what? Then I'll target another, and then another, and another. It doesn't all need to happen immediately. I feel like we all need to stop thinking to ourselves that the change needs to happen right away, and start to view it from not a crazy bird's eye view, but a slight bird's eye view, maybe a couple months, maybe start with the month, see how you perform throughout that month, and then go for another month, rather than just viewing it day by day or week by week. So, yeah, that's where I am. That's what I'm thinking right now. And let me check if I said anything else to the AI that I want to mention. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was really it. I'm reading the voice message I sent. Um, no, I didn't type all this out. But yeah, I really would. Oh, and one thing too, I said this to AI, but I still stand on it. I would rather get a $500 payout knowing I properly followed my model and traded properly based upon the trader I am striving to become, rather than get a 10K payout that was simply luck per se. Mainly because I've been there literally in that exact scenario before. And I said this earlier, but you always end up giving that money back to the market. If you make 20 grand that's not yours, guess what? You may not give it back immediately. You may not give it back in a single day. But over a period of time, you 100% will end up giving not only back that, but more to the market. So, to me, the question is, what does your progress represent to you? Does it represent a quick short term dopamine hit? Or does it represent something more? Does it represent the individual you're striving to become? Or the future life you are planning to live? That's all I got. Yeah. So now, what am I gonna go do? That's a good question. question. What am I gonna go do? What am I gonna go do? Probably go hit my macros. So, there you go. Love you guys. Continue to gradually set new standards for yourself. And that doesn't mean you need to hit those standards every single time, but set those new standards and give yourself the opportunity to just walk in accordance based upon the future life you envision yourself living. That's good. Yeah, that's good. I cooked with that. Did I not cook? That was pretty good. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. And peace out. Peace and have a nice day. Light out.